Hey y'all, grown black folks talk. Had 99 problems. I only have 80 now because I subtracted 19. That is COVID-19. I've been away for a while because I've been dealing with a diagnosis of COVID-19. Not quite sure because there are two different exposures in 2 different weeks, but by Friday, May 20th, I was finally having symptoms. So what had happened was I have big spring allergies anyway. And so in having big spring allergies anyway, the thing about Omicron and its relatives that is so insidious, it will imitate what you're already dealing with. So my mom just started spring allergies messing with her asthma. She didn't realize it until 2 days after me that we had all, and my dad, we had all been to a particular funeral, and people pull down their masks and start crying and carrying on. But I also went on vacation, which I didn't get to tell y'all about because I got COVID when I got back. And I could have been exposed because I didn't account for a couple things, which was having a refrigerator in my room that I could just stock. And so I wouldn't have to be going out 8 times to go eat. One tiny mistake because Omicron is not gone. There are a couple things I need to tell you on a practical level because there are a couple things that I learned from this. Number one, if I had to work, I would have taken Mucinex and Theraflu and had those things ready and gone to the bathroom and stayed medicated and been at work. Omicron for people who are vaccinated and boosted, because I can't speak for those who are unvaccinated, is mild enough so that if I had to work through, I would, which means that certain populations of people are not going to be able to stay home and isolate. Can't afford it. You can't afford for something that is a head cold that can kill you, because that's basically the severity that I experienced. I've had head colds that actually were worse than that, and chest colds that were worse than that. Most people are not going to stay home. And then you think of the people that feel like they have been entitled to their vacations and to get out and enjoy, and it's springtime rolling into summer. They're going to take their medications and roll. And a lot of them are not going to even realize what they have. The reason I realize it is that I have sinus stuff often. What I don't have is vertigo. I basically was up here dancing the Blue Danube waltz in my house, and that told me, oh, that's different. And that's why I tested 10 days ago and came up positive. Tested negative today. So, like I said, 99 problems. I subtracted 19. Now I got 80. My dad has beat it. He's now COVID negative. My mom is still experiencing some symptoms in the morning, but largely is COVID negative. She's not testing negative yet because she's a few days realizing what was going on with her behind me. So, but it's on its way out with her too. So my family got it. My sister never got it, actually. She's in London right now, traveling the world again. She never got it. So I didn't come during that week because then this won't be a long video because my voice still isn't back to normal. But the thing about COVID, it takes a long time to clear out. There are some practical matters, though, that I want to talk to you about. Being vaccinated and boosted, I think, does matter. Having experienced COVID-19 in the Omicron form, it is deceptively like a head cold, but also it could have killed me on the first day that I realized that vertigo was no joke. That's a rare neurological symptom. Or it could also mean that COVID is infecting further up the inner ear, the middle to the inner ear, than a cold ordinarily does. But when you're my size and you fall down, oh yeah, you die real easy. My mom has asthma underlying. It's generally well controlled. Asthma can kill you by itself. So COVID could have killed her because the attacks was weak. My dad is 85 with diabetes. If he wasn't taking good care of himself, plus he's 85. Of course, my dad is as healthy as a horse. And so he developed it last of all and shook it before the rest of us in terms of time. But his doctor also prescribed Paxlovid to help him clear it out to make sure it wouldn't get to be a big problem. And of course, we're vaccinated boosted. However, there are some things that the unvaccinated have been saying for 2 years that are very important. My whole family and I have all been on a weight loss journey, not quite together because we're all doing different things. Y'all see me out there in the wilds and all the rest. And I'll be back out. Of course, Aunt Flo would come and arrive the day I test negative. So I still feel just for a different reason. But tomorrow or Tuesday, y'all see me taking little walks. Now, here's the other thing about COVID. COVID affects you in ways you don't understand. I will not be doing any hill climbing. I will content myself to go to our favorite little statue in Golden Gate Park. Usually what happens is I hit that on my way back on my loop. I probably just go that far and come back now. Probably not going to try to climb up any hills for a while. There have been people that have had mild cases of COVID-19 have taken, more exertion than they should, and their organs have shut down from oxygen loss. You don't play with COVID-19 like that. Even though it feels like a head cold, it can still kill you. That being said, how do you not let COVID kill you? Well, obviously, I have a particular COVID morbidity. I am obese. However, my family and I have all been losing weight. So we were less vulnerable than we would have been. Every one of us is obese. We have been. It's been almost a lifetime. We're just large frame people, and we can carry weight like that and not have the kind of serious problems that others might. But still, it's there. But we have been reducing it. The other thing is, Dad is a big vitamin man. So he already was doing a multivitamin Centrum, also additional C, D, and he has zinc here in reserve. He bought some zinc citrate. Because I have been exercising like I have been taking a good multivitamin, supplemental D, a little bit more, and supplemental iron. Like this week, I got to go do that before I go to bed. Now that I think about it. So we already were doing some of those things, drinking a lot of water, eating a plant-based diet, 40 to 60% plant-based. We were already doing those things. So the unvaccinated who tell you to build up your immune system, that's actually very important too. Because the thing about COVID is that COVID is hard to clear in terms of having symptoms and all this. And then if two different people have two different strains, I found out today, talking to the advice nurse, that if we picked up COVID in different places, there is an odd chance if it's two different strains that are not well related, we can even reinfect each other, like we can cross strains. Okay, wasn't ready for that. But the point is, if your immune system is in good shape and you're vaccinated and boosted, like most people, you can ride this out, even in advanced ages. Okay, so we managed to ride it out. Barring some reinfection madness, barring some strange thing that happens with us with that, barring some strange thing that happens with mom who is not quite cleared yet, we're through it. We have subtracted 19 problems from our lives. I realize now, though, why it also kills people disproportionately in the African American and in poor communities in general, though. Because getting access to the things that you need to build up your immune system is hard in a food desert. So I wanted to distill this down to what I did to help clear this out. I didn't take Paxlovid. Lemons, limes, ginger, turmeric. Now, if you can't get number 4, turmeric, I went 24-hour fasting. In other words, eating every 24. And did fluids, boiled lemons, lime, ginger together. You slice them, slice the lemons, lime, slice ginger, boil them for 25 minutes, and boil them for 25 minutes whole. And try to get them organic if you can, but if you can't, don't worry about it. Get some baking soda. Soak the lemons and the lime and the ginger and the baking soda whole, and that'll dislodge a lot of the pesticides and stuff that's on the outside. Cut them, boil them for 25 minutes, and then simmer them for another 25 minutes. You can also make it 30. You can make it 20 and 40 and simmer them. What you want is to do this with the peels on everything, because a lot of the vitamin C that's available is actually in the peels. Now, what if you can't eat citrus? Because I have a friend who's allergic. If you can get organic berries, strawberries, blackberries. If you can't, if you got to get them frozen, then probably go, if you can get blackberries or blueberries as opposed to strawberries, which has a higher pesticide load. Leafy greens, if you can get them, because they have a lot of vitamin C. Sources of vitamin D, get a full spectrum multivitamin. So no matter how much money you have, make it a priority to at least have some high natural source of vitamin C. Lemons and limes are available everywhere. If you have to get oranges, do that. It's just higher sugar. I'm going to come back to that. Oranges, lemons, limes, grapefruits. If you're taking high blood pressure medicine, be careful. If ginger is not available, you can't get actual ginger root or powdered ginger, Garlic is available almost everywhere. Get powdered garlic and get a brand of mustard and make a mustard plaster. You know, like your ancestors used to make, not to put on your chest. You use that and you eat it. Wash it down with plenty of water. That is going definitely your stomach will let you know that you did that, but it will help you to flush that with plenty of water. It will help you to be able to flush things out, things that you can afford to do. So if you can get a full spectrum multivitamin, you know what I use? When COVID hit and I went to the store to get additional multivitamins, there was nothing there but Flintstones because people our age are embarrassed to be taking a children's vitamin. There is no shame in my game. I got my chewable Flintstones and went on with my life. One Flintstones is enough for a full grown human being. Take two if you're worried about it. Your body will, however, just don't be shocked when you have slightly green. You will have slightly green urine, but that is because your body will run out the additional B1 that you do not need. And riboflavin gives your urine a slight green tinge. Don't worry about it. That's just your kidneys doing what they're supposed to do. Get you some Flintstones, you can't get anything else. Get you multivitamin, lemon, lime, ginger to keep inflammation down. COVID kills by setting up massive inflammation. Alpha did this, Delta did this, Omicron did this. Omicron is less likely to do it. But still, like I said, COVID could have killed me or my mom because she got wobbly like that. She's big and she's 30 years older than me. The other thing is about inflammation. In those 7 days, I had practically no additional sugars. I did eat a pair, and also unnatural sugars. What I'm trying to say, um, and very little starch. Sugar is a major contributor to inflammation in the body. Excess sugar is a major contributor. Even if you're sitting up eating a plant-based diet, members of my family that eat more sugar versus members of my family that don't eat as much sugar, you can actually test it. Because my dad's diabetes, he doesn't do it, period. He even switched from milk to almond milk. Flux pack lowered, granted, but he cleared it in 5 days. Sugar adds inflammation to what COVID's already trying to do. So what you really want to do is limit your sugars. The way that I dealt with that is to go on a 24-hour fast, eating once a day. So whatever I was going to do. Now, the other thing about this is I was already doing what's called intermittent fasting quite by accident because the way my schedule works out, there's about 16 hours between me doing eating. So, I'll eat at a particular time, I'll eat again at a particular time, and then not eat again until after I've done my walk. So it just roughly came out that I was already doing 16. Well, I lost my appetite, so I wasn't going to push it. So I ended up doing once in 24. What's going on with your body is your body has to eat your food, metabolize what it can use, catabolize waste materials, and also take other waste materials from inside the body and send it out. If you eat fewer meals, now again, you do have to have a multivitamin. If you have any special deficiencies, which I do, you have to then add some things with that. You cannot do this in an unresourced situation. Absolutely not. Because you're not going to maybe not be able to eat enough on one meal to get everything you need. But the time your body's not spending digesting food and catabolizing waste from just that is time that your body can spend going through and cleaning up whatever needs to be cleaned up. And if you have COVID-19, COVID-19 makes a mess, even mild cases. COVID-19 compared with a head cold, but the cleanup is going to take a lot longer. Even as I sit here, when I get up in the morning, there's still a lot still draining. The cleanup is considerable because the way COVID damages cells and causes inflammation. All that has to heal, all that has to be cleaned out. And then when all that's done, then you stop. This is why people are talking about long COVID. It can take a very long time. So if you can keep your vitamins up but not eat as much, and again, you got to also look at, I have calories to burn too. If you're very small, don't necessarily do this. But if you have calories to burn and you can eat a 40 to 60% plant-based diet and you have a good multivitamin, skipping a meal is not going to hurt you. Fasting will help you clean up. However, as I said before, I was already intermittent fasting. So for me to go from 16, we eating twice in 24 hours, eating twice within 8 hours and then back to 16, to going from eating once and not eating the rest of the time. In other words, then the body digests everything that needed to be digested and then start doing, just working on cleaning out the body, is not going to be as hard for me to be someone else. I've been on a weight loss journey for a long time. So my body's kind of used to this idea that we're going to take in less calories than we're bringing in. This may not be doable for you right away, but if your body's saying no appetite, work with it. Your body's trying to get additional time to put resources into fighting this disease. So if that's my story, y'all, I'm sticking to it. Like I said, I'm not feeling great today, but this is the glories of day 2 with Aunt Flo. So you fight off COVID and then this happens. I still got to delve back and talk about my vacation. Because remember, I did a video about tell people what you've done when you've done it. I got to delve back and do that. I'm glad I had that chance to rest before going through this with my entire family. Having 3 people sick with COVID in a household, and both of them are older than you, that's a whole situation by itself. But God be praised. We are pretty much through it now, and I can now feel comfortable talking about what we did to beat it as a unit. We're back. Schedule will not be well scheduled this next week because I can't control how I'm gonna feel. We will have videos that I recorded yesterday for tomorrow, and then probably I'll do a video tomorrow. If I go out and walk, there'll be a short video, and then we're gonna be talking about. I learned a lot while I was out. Oh boy! So I have passing on information. I listened to FD Signifier. I listened to Handlebar Films. I learned a lot. I listened to just what's going on around the mulberry bush. A lot is happening on the hot topic. We're not going back to discussing from the beginning of May directly, but there are some details we may need to talk about along the way. We will not be on quite the regular schedule because the other thing that's going on is Themis and Thoughts. Shout out to Themis and the entire house of Themis. Vitamin Q, if you're listening to me, is doing tremendous shows. So we got to make time to listen to more people. Themis will be doing 3 shows this week, I think. So my duties as a moderator will cause me to have to spend more time over there. Plus, I can't just control. COVID is no joke. So sometimes I'll be trying to do what I'm doing and still going energy level. Life after COVID-19 is a little bit like doing what you used to do if you have a mild case, but it's like doing it underwater. You can do everything that you used to do. There's a little bit more resistance there. I'm not up to full power yet. I mean, I may look fabulous, but I may look like myself, but no. COVID-19 is a head cold that'll kill you. And it's more than a notion. We believe COVID, the original went through here in December of 2019. And I remember that it took 6 weeks for me to be back to where I was. Even our flow got knocked off. So I'm hoping Omicron is gentle enough so that 2 weeks from now, but don't know that yet. Haven't been testing negative long enough to know if I even have long COVID. If mom has long COVID, if dad's going to end up having some kind of long COVID with this. We don't know. Being COVID-19 survivor is a journey that a lot of people have been on, but it's very individualized. But I am back. I'm here. And keep us in your prayers. Those of you that do pray, good thoughts from everyone else. I appreciate it. And please prepare yourself. There is, like I said, no possibility that COVID is going to go away. So please, 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 lemons, limes, anti-inflammatory measures, please. If you cannot afford anything else, I would highly recommend that you get some N95 masks, because the only reason that I got sick is because there were some occasions I had to take them off in the presence of other people that did not want to do that. You do not want COVID. I know people feel differently about vaccine and boosting. Fine. Get your lemon, limes, and ginger together because you may be in a fight for your life. But if you have anti-inflammatories, cloves are more expensive, but cloves complement ginger well. Just be careful. If you're going to make the boil that I was talking about, 1 clove for most people who are not used to it, because I do spice like that all the time. 1 clove per quart of liquid is going to be enough for most people. So if you do a half gallon, you need about 2 cloves. because you're gonna have the ginger, the lemon, and everything else up in there. Oh, half a stick of cinnamon if you can get it, but if you get powdered cinnamon, that's fine too, because that's easy to find. A couple teaspoons of that, and a teaspoon per quart. And cinnamon's another one you got to watch out for if you're not used to that. Clove or a teaspoon of cinnamon per quart, because you're really going to be relying on the citrus as much as you can get to a half gallon, or as much as you can get in there, and the ginger part. Get those things. If you can get powdered turmeric, now if you get turmeric root, if you live somewhere where you can get that, make sure you get peppercorns to go with it, because the piperine in the peppers makes it easier to absorb the good things in the turmeric. Another source of turmeric that you wouldn't think about is, remember I told you garlic and mustard? There's a lot of turmeric in mustard. Put some black pepper off in there with garlic and be happy. Powerful anti-inflammatories. They'll help your body to resist the inflammation storm that COVID is. Get those things now, because COVID is not going to go away. People who have to work are going to work right through Omicron if they can. So they're going to say, you're going to have to take your chances, because I got to feed my family, and I completely understand. People who want to go play are not going to not go play to protect you. The United States attitude is now every man, woman, child, a beast for him or herself. Get these things to protect yourself. I would recommend that you, if you're vaccinated, I would recommend, if you can. There's no second booster shot available for people under 50 just yet. But if you can get your first booster shot, I would recommend it. If you have not been vaccinated, I would recommend it. But I realize people have a right to their convictions. So for everybody, get your healthy foods, get a full spectrum multivitamin, and make sure C, D, and zinc, that you're not low on any of those. It's a difference between having a head cold that could kill you and just having something that literally could kill you, if not completely mess your life up. That's the difference we're talking about. Because COVID, even vax boosted and with a proper spectrum of vitamins, could have killed me. Could have killed me. Day one that I knew it was there. Made it. God is good. Just passing on some information. So should Omicron knock on your door, you'll make it too. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.